I don't know about you, but I know one of my favorite things about owning a tractor is being able to load and unload extremely heavy equipment. And I know my back appreciates it. What's going on, folks? Bienvenue. My name is Wade and this is Sabine River Valley. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite levers on my tractor. So this tractor is a TYM T654 and it's a power shuttle model. So a lot of people today are using hydrostatic tractors, and it sort of works like a car, kind of. You've got a pedal that makes you go forward, but you've also got a pedal that makes you go backwards. So in that way it's different, but you just hit this pedal, right? Kind of give it some gas, and in either direction, and it'll go forward or backwards. You've still got your ranges like in a geared tractor, but you know, as far as moving forward or backwards, the pedal actually controls that. So in a hydrostatic model, some of the work that's really nice with those is loader work. Anything that you've got to come up on, and you know, like I just put out a bunch of rock, and it would have been nice just to be able to pull up to it, kind of set my bucket, and then kind of give it gas as I wanted to go. But in a geared tractor, what you do is you put it in gear and then let off the clutch normally, right? And you'll go forward. So I have an older tractor that I put it in the range that I want. It has a low and a high, and then I put it in whatever gear I want, and I've got the clutch down while I'm doing that. And then when I want to go, I let off the clutch and that tractor takes off. Okay, so that means I'm doing a lot of clutch work, right, on that tractor. And that's not your clutch isn't going to have a long life doing that in a lot of situations. You know, some of these tractors, they last forever and don't need a clutch job, but a lot of people will have to at some point do some type of clutch work on that from all that clutching and everything. Well, some of the newer tractors, they came out with something that's called shuttle shift. And shuttle shift is you put it in gear, you know, you use the clutch to put it in gear, and then you push your lever forward and the tractor would move forward. Well, in a power shuttle, the power shuttle is kind of cool because all I have to do to go forward and backwards is the same thing. I've got this lever, but I can move forward with it, and then I can move backwards, not have to come to a stop. The tractor will just automatically stop and then change directions with a power shuttle. So I can go forward, backwards without having to stop. So I can actually do, you know, in a shuttle shift, you'd have to get up to the rock where you want to get. If you're not ready, right, to dig immediately, you'd have to come to a stop, lower your bucket to where you want it, and then move forward, and then pull it out of gear and hit stop, because when you have it in gear, the brake doesn't do great, right? A brake isn't, when a tractor's in gear, a brake doesn't do great at stopping the tractor. You've got to have it out of gear and then apply the brake, right? For loader work, it's not the best, you know, it's not the best solution for loader work. But you know, it does when you're out in the field and you're plowing and you're tilling, or when you're mowing, shuttle shifts and power shuttles do a great job. You can get a shuttle shift in a lot of different tractors, but you normally don't see your power shuttles until you start getting closer to a utility tractor. With TYM, you have the new 4058P. It's the old 5835R. That one is has the power shuttle in that model, and so that's kind of where that starts. And then I've got the T654, and then you've got the T754, and you've got the you had the 1104, you have the T115, the T130. All these tractors have your power shuttle in them, and so what that does for you is that I can now, I still can work the brake if I want to, but now I don't really have to. I don't have to do that so much. I can kind of take that out of the equation, and so when I'm moving into that rock, I can control my, I just have my lever to go forward and backwards, and then I'm just controlling the, the bucket over here with my right hand, so I can move forward and go into that pile, and then I can tilt that bucket back and move, as I'm getting into that pile, and start, you tilt it back and start raising that loader up so that your back wheels, because that, if you hit a big pile like that and it stops the tractor, again, just like I said with the brakes don't do a great job when it's in gear. That pile might stop the tractor, but those wheels are going to keep going, right? And they're going to dig in. They're going to dig in quick. So when you hit that pile, you adjust that bucket so it tilts backwards, and then you can actually move your loader up a little to kind of go through it, right? To move through that pile instead of hitting it and stopping and digging in. And then once you know that you've got all the material right there, you just pop that lever backwards, and then that tractor, you can either pop it backwards to stop, or you can pop it backwards to go into reverse. When you first start, you might just go into the center. You might just go into the neutral position and stop, right? You just kind of getting used to it. But eventually, after you're doing this a bunch, you're forward, you're grabbing it, right, loading it, and then you're in reverse immediately. So you're just moving forward, and then you're moving back out of it. You get quicker and quicker with that. And so a power shuttle kind of helps with loader work. But one of the things that a hydrostat still has over a power shuttle, definitely when you're doing loader work, is that when you hit those pedals and you have that in whatever gear you want it in, you can just hit that pedal a little bit and just kind of inch forward, right? Just kind of barely move forward. Well, with a power shuttle, you're moving forward. You'd have to work this lever back and forth to kind of do that. And I don't find that real natural, right? I just don't do that real well that way, right? That now I'm adding, I'm trying to control the loader and everything with my right hand, and now I'm trying to finesse, right, with the left hand, and that to me almost is this, the same as adding the brake or something, right? So what they have in my model and a lot of these models to help you with that is what's called the creeper gear. And so down here on my left, there's a handle, and if I push the clutch in, when I'm stopped, I'm completely stopped, and when I push the clutch in, if I pull up on this handle, now I'm in a much lower gear than what I was normally in. So I have my tractor in low, I have me, in like maybe first gear, so what do they call this? The sub gear is your range, right? And then you have your regular gears. So I'm in first gear, and now I pull up on this lever and I'm even slower. Another place that this really works well at is if you're trying to pull something out of maybe the bed of a truck. I'm just giving a couple examples. There are many examples you could use for this. But if you're trying to pull something out of the back of a truck with your tractor, and you've got to get up as close as you can, right, to get whatever that object is directly under where the pins are on the loader, right? So the pins are here, and I need to move that and try to center where those pins are over that object, and then wrap a chain around it or whatever to the loader so I can lift it up. Well, you've got to get, you've got to get those pins into the center, over that object. So maybe it's a trailer that you've got, or the bed of a truck, right? And you move up. So here I am pulling, I'm pulling this air compressor tank off of this trailer, and I want to get up as close as I can to that trailer, but without hitting it. And so you could work your clutch, right? And try to get up like that, right? And even in a low gear, even in low range and first gear, you can still bump it, right? It can still be a little too fast. And so one of the great things about having this creeper gear is I can throw this creeper gear in, and man, it just inches, and I mean, it feels like millimeters when you're in first gear, low, and then with the creeper on, and it just moved so slow, and it's perfect. I have found that it is absolutely perfect for getting up close to like a really nice truck, the bed of a truck, or if you don't want to smash into your trailer, getting up really close to that trailer. And you can really do that without worrying about doing any damage to whatever you're getting close to. So that creeper gear works great for that. Now, I know that over time, maybe you get really good at finessing other things, right? Maybe you can. But, if you can have it, if you can have this creeper gear, why not? Why not use it? And I absolutely love it. So, it's funny, when I first wanted to use it, the first time I wanted to use it, I could not get the creeper gear to come up. And I didn't know if I was supposed to pull it up. I had no clue if I was supposed to pull it up, if I was supposed to turn the handle, like maybe turn it. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. I couldn't find any instructions. I couldn't find any videos of anybody actually activating the creeper gear, right? So I reached out to Evan at Country View Acres. He's got a T654. And I also reached out to Phil over at Small Farm Innovations out in Central Texas. He has done a lot of the promotional videos for TYM for these utility tractors. So I knew both of them would know, but I was kind of in a pickle. I needed that information as quickly as possible. So I went ahead and asked both of them. And what's funny is that on Saturday morning, so I think I asked this on a Friday night, and I had to get up Saturday morning to do the work that I was doing. And Saturday morning, my phone, super early, my phone beeps at me, right? And I've got a message. But then as I'm reaching over to check the message, it rings. And it's Phil from Small Farm Innovations. So I pick up the phone, I'm like, hello, and he's like, hey, let me tell you what you do. And he kind of explained the whole situation. But what was funny is when the phone beeped, when it first, woke me up in the morning and it beeped, it was actually Evan replying back to me on what to do. So both of them replied back to me right at the exact same moment, super early in the morning, which was great. I mean, that's what I needed. And so, but let me explain to you what the issue was. So if you have one of these tractors and you ever get in and you can't get this bar to come up, it comes up super easy. Even if it doesn't go into gear, it'll still move up a little. But you can tell there's two clicks. When you go up, when you go up the first time, there's like a middle click, and then that's not in gear, and you'll feel that. But then if it goes into gear, there'll be one more movement up. And so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even get it to go into that middle gear. It wouldn't move at all. and I could not figure out what was going on with it. Was I doing something wrong? Was there something else, you know, that I was supposed to be doing in the tractor? What Evan and Phil told me was when they ship these, there's a pin that they have underneath the cab of the tractor that keeps this from going up. So it's all the way down, and there in the shaft of this there's a small hole, and whenever they ship these, it will not move up. It won't bounce up into the creeper gear. It'll stay down. But a lot of dealerships, probably most dealerships, don't even think about pulling that pin out. But if you'll go underneath, and you can get to it from the back of the tractor, there's a little flat, mud flat back there on the left side. It's on the same side where the hydraulic fill port is. If you look underneath, there's a flap, and if you move that flap up and you look underneath there, so I took my camera and shoved it up under there and took a picture so I could see what I was looking for, because it's kind of hard to see. And I just happened to get that pin in the picture, so I knew exactly where it was. So I reached up under there with a pair of needle nose pliers and hooked that pin and pulled it out. And as soon as I did that and came back into the tractor, man, it just lifted right up, no issues. So if you're having trouble lifting your creeper gear lever, it's probably a good chance that that pin for transport is in there, and it's keeping it from moving up. So if you pull that pin, then you'll be able to use it. So anyway, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, I've never used the creeper gear. I've never used it on my tractor. And, you know, those are probably a lot of people with a lot of seat time that they just hop in and they've kind of got the finesse of everything down. And I totally get that. But if you're new and you do want that extra slow speed, right, for getting up close to things, getting up close to a building, maybe you've got a man basket, right? I have a self-leveling loader, so it's perfect to put a man basket on and kind of use that to lift somebody up in the air. And maybe you've got somebody up there and you want to get close and you don't want to jerk the tractor back and forth to do anything while they're in that basket. Well, that creeper gear, you throw it in there and she'll move super slow, but she'll move smooth as butter. And it's just great. So anyway, if your tractor has a creeper gear and you've never used it and you want to try it out, I hope this video helps. You know, find that pin, make sure it's not in there, and then once you pull it, it ought to be ready to go. So I appreciate you watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one, good Lord willing. Y'all have a good one. Take care.